Greetings, friends, from wherever you may be. My name is Kai Forcy Rodriguez. I'm a graduating student from the University of New Hampshire here in the state of New Hampshire, USA. I was an exchange student with AFS in the Netherlands from 2011 and 2012. And to be perfectly honest, we live perhaps in the craziest, most uncertain time that we have ever lived in, at least in our lifetime. So, how will our lives change in the long term? I think it's important to understand that there are many ways where we can keep ourselves safe, keep others safe from this pandemic, and also make wise decisions. By wise decisions, that means either staying at home, limiting contact with others, using the technology we have, which is a lot different from times in the past historically where there were massive global pandemic issues. So that is definitely something that we can do. And also how it will change lives is that our population in general, globally, will be entirely different. So demographics graphs from the turn of the century to the 21st century predicted that by 2025, at least in the US or China, there will be a major elderly population. Essentially, due to COVID-19, unfortunately, that demographic graph is being flipped the other way around, perhaps, I would argue. So that'll change our lives a lot, and also how to help support the next generation, our generation, post-virus, both economically and also with proper living situations. That's a major political problem, at least in the US, and I would think globally. So to talk about how COVID-19 will change our thinking and practicing around key issues like climate change, healthcare, hunger, etc. At least in the United States, that's a very deep concern of mine because of the current political atmosphere that we're in. There are a lot of pressures on state governments where not all of the states in the US have the financial or in general infrastructure to implement massive assistance programs, and unfortunately the federal government in the US is not doing nearly enough to do this. So I think one, it'll influence how we vote in the November general election for the president, our senators, and people we elect to public office. I think even more importantly, this inaction by our public officials should spark frustration, if not anger, among our generation in a positive, non-combative way to hold our political elected officials' feet to the fire on issues that we believe are very important. I also think that if anything in the US, it would shift our view of privatized healthcare to a more public, universal system, which every other industrialized country in the world has. And the United States is one of the few that doesn't. I think it'll also create more online business models where more people, I'm a teacher, so I would be able to teach a variety of kids language classes or give special ed supports, which is my field of expertise, through an online medium. There are a variety of options out there at our fingertips. And so I think that'll really shift our focus, hopefully, to a more, we're all in this together, we have to work together to essentially help each other as human beings, not just as people within the confines of a country. So that's important to note. Hunger and political issues, violence, many can attest to that being along with climate change, the major crisis of our generation or of our time, and we have a chance to shift the balance on that for our kids and for our grandkids. So also, how will COVID-19 change the way that we relate to each other and to the world? This is a big question that a lot of people are asking, and the best answer I can give for that is treating everybody like they're your brother, your sister, a family member, because we really are all in this together, and we have to have a collective, unified, global approach. If we don't have that, then unfortunately more people